7 horses have died at Churchill Downs, the famous racetrack and home of the Kentucky Derby, since April 27th, and 2 of the deaths are still a mystery. 5 of the deaths happened the week leading up to the 149th edition of the Derby, and 2 more horses have been euthanized after suffering injuries in races just hours before post time. A statement released by Churchill Downs Racetrack says, "Transparency is an important component of our commitment to safety and accountability in horse racing. We share the concern of our fans who have questions about the recent equine fatalities at Churchill Downs Racetrack, and we extend our sincere condolences to those who love and cared for these horses." These recent deaths of horses at Churchill Downs is just the tip of the iceberg. From 2016 to 2021, there have been a total of 52 racing-related fatalities at Churchill Downs alone. Churchill Downs is not the only horse racetrack in the United States reporting horse deaths. The racing facility at Santa Anita Park in Arcadia, California has reported 6 horse deaths since January 1st, already reaching half the total for 2022 in just the first 6 weeks of this year. 12 deaths reported at Santa Anita in 2022 were well below a typical year at the track. Between 1995 and 2018, Santa Anita averaged 50 horse deaths per year. Many people around the world think it's time to face the cold, hard truth about horse racing. The billions of dollars generated by this industry cannot justify the inhumane treatment of these majestic animals. The Thoroughbred breed is well known for its prominence in horse racing. Some facts about this breed will help shed light on why horse racing poses such a threat to the very horses that are at the center of this crisis. They are bred for their exceptional speed and agility, which is achieved through selective breeding for specific traits. However, this breeding focus on performance often leads to physical fragility. Thoroughbreds have a slender frame with lightweight bones, making them susceptible to injuries, especially in high-stress activities like racing. Owners and trainers in the racing industry have valued putting speed over all else in breeding. Horses that run fast are prioritized whether or not their offspring can stand up to the rigors of a racing career. The top horses, those in the stakes class, rarely run much past their 3 or 4-year-old seasons before they are taken off to a stud farm where real money can be made. So owners and trainers don't really concern themselves that a horse might only be able to run a few times a year for 2 or 3 years because they just have to get to that stud feed point. But the horses below that class, who are still bred with all of the fragility of the higher-priced racers, aren't quite as lucky. This class of horses below the top racers have to run much more often to be a good return on investment, but they're no more well prepared for it than any of the other horses. It will take decades to rethink how we breed these horses and to make changes, and that's only if the racing industry has any interest in doing it, and it doesn't appear at this point that it does. To be sure, there are other horse sports that can put horses at risk as well, such as jumping and 3-day eventing, and ultimately any sport, even trail and endurance riding and dressage, carries an element of risk. The 149th Kentucky Derby may be over, but the questions about what led to a string of horse fatalities at the track have just begun. Churchill Downs officials have launched an investigation into the deaths, and it will partner with the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission and the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority to do an investigation and learn how to improve the safety of the sport. And they are working rigorously to figure out what caused the incidents. What are your thoughts on this important discussion amongst equestrians and horse enthusiasts and people all around the world? How much do you think the billions of dollars generated by the industry plays a role in the horse fatalities? Many horse enthusiasts boycotted this year's Kentucky Derby by not attending it and not watching the live coverage. It's time to start asking tough questions and demanding answers. How can we prevent these tragic deaths from happening? What can be done to ensure the safety and well-being of these magnificent animals? Please comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.